On review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 78% of the 384 critics' reviews were positive, with an average score of July 1st, 10. The site's consensus reads, natively speaking, it can be pretty standard stuff, but visually speaking, Avatar, Flow of Water, is a great immersive experience. Metacritic, using a weighted average score, gave the film a score of 67 out of 100, based on 68 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 202 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average score of A. On an A+ to F scale, like the first Avatar, while Post-Track reported 91% of moviegoers gave the film a positive rating, with 82% saying that they would definitely recommend the film. 3. Positive reviews focus on the film's beautiful visuals and support viewing it in the largest format possible. Chicago Sun-Times. Critic Richard Roper praised the film's visuals as some of the most vibrant, and gorgeous visuals ever seen on screen. Variety critic Owen Gleiberman praising the film as a vertically breathtaking sequel with magically maintained fight scenes that leave your eyes wide open, your mind reeling and your soul racing. Racing and ultimate 3D art, never looking you in the face, just images that look and feel sculpted, that make every movie's underwater glide all bring the feeling of experience as if you were doing it yourself. 205, on the other hand, Gleiberman felt that the story was basic with a usable sequence of clichés, real dialogue and little depth to the characters. 205, The Atlantic critic David Sims said that the film will wow audiences and show new delights in the alien world of Pandora, while noting that the film got off to a slow start and was busy with the details, plot while the film updates audiences on Pandora's life over the past decade. Los Angeles Times critic Justin Chung praised Cameron as one of the few Hollywood visionaries truly worthy of that much overused term and stated that the film would silenced most of his opponents, while praising the film as tender and sentimental. 207, Entertainment Weekly reviewer Leah Greenblatt sums up her review of The Way of Water, says it creates its own full-blown reality, a world that's as meticulously constructed and encompassing as anything we've ever seen on screen, until The King That Crown is approved, certainly in December 2024, the expected release date of Avatar 3. 208. However, some critics felt the film was too long and the story didn't have enough depth to justify the length. The New Yorker's critic Anthony Lane said that the film is over 3 hours long, with some passages getting dangerously close to intoxicating. It wasn't until the final third that Cameron applied it, lashing out and reminding us that, when it comes to choreographing the action sequences, he still excels. 209, The Guardian's critic Peter Bradshaw criticized the frighteningly bland plot and noted that despite the change in setting, there wasn't a single visually interesting image. 210, San Francisco Chronicle critic Mick Lossell called it an hour-long story wrapped in a 192-minute bag, while admitting that it looks pretty good, combining one of the best 3D apps to date, with the image appears to have been formed in 3 dimensions. 211, The Telegraph's Robbie Collins said that the film has no plot, no stakes and brutal dialogue, and that despite its entire world-building process, The Way of Water is a horizon-shrinking experience, the sad spectacle of a great filmmaker overturning a creative dead end. The Toronto Star commented that the film was not well received when it attempted to portray the colonial struggles of the indigenous peoples, with critic Drew Hayden Taylor noting in its own way, it is also quite conventional and a bit boring. Predictable. I was in the more than a decade after the Nausicaa repelled the human invasion of Pandora by the Resource Development Authority, RDA, Jake Sully lives as the patriarch of the Omaticaya clan and has a family with Neytiri, including sons Nedium and Loeke, daughter Tuck, adopted daughter Kiri, born from Grace Augustine's inert incarnation, and a human boy named Spider, son of Colonel Miles Quaritch, who was born on Pandora and was unable to be transported to Earth in a frozen state due to his young age. To the dismay of the Nausicaa, the RDA returns to prepare their homeworld of Pandora for human invasion, under the pretext that the Earth is dying. Among the newly arrived RDAs is the recombinant, the Nausicaa substitute, implanted with the minds and memories of dead soldiers, with Quaritch's recombinant acting as their leader. Jake conducts a guerrilla campaign against the RDA's supply lines, but Quaritch and his subordinates go on a mission against Jake's rebels and kidnap his children. Jake and Neytiri arrived and freed most of them, but Spider was taken away by Quaritch, who recognized him as her son. He decided to spend time with him to attract Spider to him, and in return, Spider taught Quaritch about Nausicaa's culture and language. Aware of the danger that Spider knew his whereabouts could pose to their safety, Jake and his family left Omaticaya and retreated to the Metkayina Reef people on the west coast. east of Pandora, although Jake and his family are given shelter. They are viewed with aversion by some in the tribe due to their human heritage. However, the family learns the way of life of the people living in the reef. Loike fights with Aonung, Cyria's brother. When he returned to apologize at Jake's insistence, Aonung and his friends lured him on a trip into the territory of a dangerous sea predator and left him stranded. Loike is saved and befriends Payakan, a Tulkun, a whale intelligent and pacifist that the Metkyinas consider to be their spiritual family. Upon his return, Loike confessed to himself, befriending Aonung, but learned that Payakan was an outcast of his kind. During a trip to Metkyina's Tree of Soul, Kiri links up with it to meet her mother but suffers a violent seizure. She was healed by Ronald, but when Jake called Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Quaritch was able to track them down to the archipelago where the reef people lived. Carrying Spider with him, he commands a whaling ship that hunts down Tulkuns to harvest their brain enzymes for an anti-aging drug called Amrita. Quaritch began to harshly question the native tribes about Jake's whereabouts. When this didn't work, he ordered the whaling team to deliberately kill the Tulkuns to lure Jake out. Loike mentally bonded with Payakan and learned that Tulkun was banished because he went against the peaceful course of his species and fought against the RDA whalers. Who killed his mother? When Metkyina learned of the Tulkun murder, Loike set out to warn Payakan, followed by his siblings, Cyria, Aonung, and Ratso. They find Payakan being pursued by whalers, and Loike, Cyria, and Tuk being captured by Quaritch. When their children are in danger, Jake, Neytiri, and Metkyina set out to confront the humans. Quaritch forces Jake to surrender, but seeing Loike in danger, Payakan attacks the whalers, sparking a fight that kills most of the crew and sinks the ship. Nedium rescues Loike, Cyria, and Spider, but is fatally shot. Jake confronts Quaritch, who uses Kiri as a hostage. When Neytiri did the same to Spider, Quaritch at first denied his relationship with him but refused when Neytiri cut Spider's chest. Jake, Quaritch, Neytiri, and Tuk end up trapped inside the sinking ship. Jake strangles Quaritch to unconsciousness and is saved by Loike and Payakan, while Kiri summons sea creatures to help her save Neytiri and Tuk. Spider rescues Quaritch but abandons his cruelty and joins Jake's family. After Nedium's funeral, Jake informs Tanawari and Ronald of their decision to leave Metkyina. However, Tanawari respectfully identifies him as part of the clan and welcomes his family to stay. Jake and his family accept and make a new life at sea. Jake vows to continue fighting the human invaders. Avatar: The Way of Water is a 2022 American epic science fiction film directed by James Cameron, who co-wrote the screenplay with Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, from a story the trio wrote with Josh Friedman and Shane Salerno. Produced by Lightstorm Entertainment and TSG Entertainment and published by 20th Century Studios, it is the sequel to Avatar, 2009, and the second installment in the Avatar series. Actors Sam Worthington, Zoe Saldana, Stephen Lang, Joel David Moore, CCH Pounder, Giovanni Ribisi, Dilip Rao, and Matt Gerald reprise their roles in the original film, with Sigourney Weaver returning in a supporting role. The new cast includes Kate Winslet, Cliff Curtis, Edie Falco, and Jermaine Clement. In the film, Nausica's Jake Sully, Worthington, and his family seek refuge with Pandora's Metkyina clan and must defend against a new human threat. Cameron announced in 2006 that he wanted to make a sequel to Avatar if it was successful, and he announced the first two sequels in 2010, following the huge success of the first, with the sequel. The first sequel is scheduled to premiere in 2014. However, the addition of two more sequels, a total of 5 Avatar movies, and the need to develop new technology to filming the underwater scenes, an achievement never achieved before, resulted in significant delays to production, allowing the crew more time for writing, pre-production, and visual effects. Filming is taking place concurrently with the currently untitled third film, which began in Manhattan Beach, California, on August 15, 2017. Filming locations moved to Wellington, New Zealand, on September 25, 2017 and ended at the end of September 2020 after 3 years of shooting. With an estimated budget of $350-460 million, it's one of the most expensive movies of all time we've ever made. After several delays to the expected release schedule, Avatar: Flow of Water premiered in London on December 6, 2022. And was released in theaters in the United States and Vietnam on December 16, 2022. Critics praised the film for its visual effects and technical achievements, but called the plot thin and criticized its long length. The film has grossed over $1.953 billion worldwide. The film crossed the billion-dollar mark faster than its predecessor, making it the sixth fastest film to cross the billion-dollar mark, 14 days, while the original film crossed the $1 billion mark later, 19 days. It also became the fourth film to be released after the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic surpasses the $1 billion mark and is the highest-grossing film of 2022. Organizations such as the National Committee of Film Critics and the American Film Institute have honored Avatar: Flows of the World. Water is one of the 10 best films of 2022. It also received numerous other awards, including nominations for Best Drama and Best Director at the 80th Golden Globe Awards.